Hello. Sorry about that. Had to share the thing to Facebook. I forgot to do that. How are you? Welcome. It's the mailbag. It's me. Let's check out the comments. Oh, a whole lot of what's going on. The past live streams seem non-scripted or planned, although I missed the start of that one, so I'm really clueless. They're all non-scripted. I just used the closing of the chapter because next week is my last T-38 flight, which may actually be my last flight in the military. I don't know. I mean, I still have no resolution, so one day at a time, take life as it happens, and I've got one, maybe two more flights um, next week. Three maybe, two, three, four, two, three, four. Definitely two, or definitely one, maybe two, maybe even three. I don't know, but anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. It's been a interesting week. It's been a cold week, as you can see. I'm in the cold weather attire using my Skunkworks um, sweatshirt provided to me by a friend of the channel. And today we're going to take your questions, hang out, maybe an hour, maybe 45 minutes, maybe whatever. Let's see. We'd love to have you with us in the 46. The CH? What the hell's the 46? CH 40? What is a 46? It's a helicopter. See, this is the thing. I'm not smart enough to. I've already failed because I don't know what the 46 is. Um, but anyway, the shirt means nothing. By the way, it's not. I'm not like gonna go fly for the Skunkworks KC 46. Oof. Oof, I don't know about all that. I don't know about all that. Here we go. I'm a firm believer in one door closes, another door opens. Can't wait to see what's coming in the next chapter. Me too. I agree with you. You know, I've got my moment of zen. It'll all work out. And if it's the end, it's the end. What are you going to do? It has to end at some point, right? At least I will go out knowing it's the end. And, I was talking about this earlier. It's both. So the T-38 is a great jet, and I've enjoyed some of the flying. I enjoy some of the stuff we do. Providing red air support for the F-22 is really awesome. There's a lot of stuff we do that I'm like, this is awesome. And, you still get to be a fighter pilot, right? Because, you're still doing fighter pilot missions. However, I won't miss the parachute that has given me neck and back issues that I didn't have before. Imagine that. Like, I didn't have, I mean, I did a little bit, but they'd gone away. But they came back with a vengeance flying the T-38 because that stupid parachute is a fulcrum. And so it hunches you over. You're sitting there, like you feel cramped in that little cockpit because, the parachute is so uncomfortable and so much weight on your back. I think it's like 50 something pounds. And, as I've talked about in the 2021 video, I mean, I just don't trust the jet. I haven't trusted the jet and the instruments and flying in the weather because it's old and outdated. And we've had ADIs that have turned, we've had HSS, and that is not a comment on the maintainers. The M1 guys and girls are awesome. They have provided amazing jets, but they're 60-year-old airplanes. I mean, 60 years old trying to do fighter stuff. It just, so there's that part of it. I've enjoyed the camaraderie. I've enjoyed the friends that I've made, the people that I've flown with, everybody I've worked with. It's been an honor. It got me back into the cockpit for at least a couple years, which was awesome. When I left the Hornet in 2016, I never thought I was going to fly again, and or at least a fighter. And I was flying commercial, and it was a little depressing because I missed being a fighter pilot. And getting back into the jet, my first flight, was awesome. So there was that piece, but there's been a lot of turmoil. Hurricane Michael came in. We moved to Eglin. We've had so much unrest and just not knowing what's next. And eventually they said, "Look, dude, you're defunded, and you got to go find another job." So that's been a tough thing to do because when you're out, and this is the advice I'll give people is if you want to stay in the cockpit, you got to stay in the cockpit, so to speak. When you get out and you're on the outside looking in, yeah, people won't hire you, and the older you get, the harder it becomes. When I left the Air Force the first time in 2012, the Navy guy told me it's a one-way door. And luckily it wasn't, but, I went to the Navy thinking this is where I'll be. And I was flying Hornets and things were going well. And then obviously I couldn't do that anymore. And then, for 2 years, I was like, from 2016 to 2018. I was like, man, I hope I get back. And it worked out, but then, things changed. So there's a lot of uncertainty, but, if I had done a little things better, if I'd stayed a little bit longer in the F-16, become an instructor in that jet, would have been easier later on. If I'd have just stayed in the F-16 the whole time, it might have been easier. So, but once you get out and you're, not current anymore, you're not the tip of the spear anymore, it is very tough to get back in. So, stuff to think about. Let's look at the old comments there. How is Gonky? Gonky's great, but he's, in fact, he and I are going to do our Finney flight together. And more than likely, it's the last for both of us. So, Mover, become a Mako at Homestead. I tried. I actually contacted them. I've got this plaque that says once a Mako, always a Mako, and apparently that's not true. But they're having their own issues. They've been unable to hire for a while now. In fact, Gono, who you've seen on the channel, actually got hired there, and he's the last guy. They just haven't. They've had some issues with jets and availability and stuff. So I don't see them hiring probably in the next 3 to 5 years. I just don't see it happening. Anyway, hi, Mover. Sorry to hear about the recent events with your squadron. Are you able to say what's next for you in your flying career, or do you not know yet yourself? Best wishes from Belfast. I don't know myself. No idea. It's a good question. Really good question. Who is your favorite Mass Effect squad mate? Man, it's been so long since I played Mass Effect. Um, what was the big monster looking dude? Man, I'm gonna have to think about that because it has been a while, and I wanted to buy it. I haven't gotten the new one. Um, anyway, back to the questions here. Uh, have you ever tried to lend your knowledge to a movie or a TV show? That's kind of a tough thing because you have to know. You have to know somebody in the industry, and I just, I know some people, but they haven't asked. Um, yeah, there's that. Can't you go back to the Makos? And no, they have to. They have to have a transition course, so F-16, and then they have to be able to fly you when you get there, which they can't right now. Uh, does this go from the Beagles as well? No. So that's the greatest irony and tragedy of this whole thing is that squadron's awesome. It always seemed like when the active duty leadership was kind of the reserve leadership was awesome, and then it would either go back and forth. The active duty leadership right now is outstanding, and it's such a great squadron. They've got such a great group of people, but they're undermanned. And as soon as the reserves officially leave, I don't know what they're going to do because I think they're going to be there for probably a couple more years. As long as the F-22s stay at Eglin, T-38s are going to stay at Eglin. So they're going to need help, but reserves are out. They're like, we don't have the funding to do this anymore. So I don't know. Rex, there you go. The Krogan. He was such a badass. Are you still employed by the airlines? Yes, I am. My old chief used to say, once you no longer love doing what you're doing or think you're making a difference, time to leave to the younger guys. I hope you can work this out. I don't know that that's true for me. I love what I'm doing. I still love being a fighter pilot. I still love flying. Um, it's just tough, it's tough. It's tough once you're on the outside to get back in, but I'm keeping a positive attitude, something's going to work out. And I've got a couple things, there's stuff I'm not going to talk about because there's no point in talking about stuff that either may not happen or low PK of happening, or I just don't know. So I don't want to, I'm not going to go public with stuff, but I'm obviously working every angle I possibly can. And, if something great does happen, I will for sure let you guys know. Have you ever thought about doing a video where you fly a Cessna? Thought about doing a video where I fly a Mooney. I just haven't gotten checked out in it. Have you thought about flying warbirds at air shows? I'd have to have a warbird, but I wouldn't be opposed to that. Contract Red Air be an interesting way to stay involved, still full up. Also, yep, that's one of the things I've looked at. But it's just, I think right now in my career and life, I'm in this weird limbo on everything. Whether it's this channel, the books, airlines, military, like everything is just like I can't tell. Like people are like, "What's your what's your next 3 months look like? And I was like, I have no idea. So it's unknown, but that doesn't mean it's bad. It just means I don't know. So it means I hope things will work out. Oh God, here's your option: become a KC-130 pilot, 135 pilot, or a Wizzo in a Strike Eagle. God, I don't know. Why you do that to me? Why you do that to me? Any possibilities of transferring to a 130 or 17 unit? I mean, I guess I could. I don't want to. If I'm gonna, honestly, for me at this point in my career, I would rather do something non-flying, like a staff job, at least where I'm still talking fighter stuff, and fly for the airlines than I would go and learn to fly heavies in the military. Because if I'm going to fly heavies, I might as well do it for the airlines. That's my opinion only. I'm not saying it's bad to fly heavies in the military. I'm just saying, why? Uh, Movers, is there any interest in flying Eagles or Mud Hens? Absolutely. I'd fly either of them, especially the EX. Future of the Spectre series. So the next book, I don't see Spectre coming back in a big way, at least for another book or so. I mean, I've got another idea for a book where he might come back, but I think the next book is going to be a Kruger and Shepard kind of book, like a Kruger origin story or something like that. Oh boy, with war with Russia, almost a guarantee. Do you think you would have the opportunity to join a squadron? Do you think it's possible you would be called up? No. I mean, I don't think so, and I don't think we're going to get into a full up. I mean, my opinion only. I don't see us getting into a full up shooting war with Russia where that would be a thing. I mean, you got to realize we'd have to. That's World War Three. I mean, we'd have to be literally in World War Three, and I hope that's not what's going to happen. I really do. I hope that that's not a thing because it'll be bad. It would be bad. A full up shooting war would be bad. How hard is it to pull 9.8 Gs compared to 9 Gs? zero point 0.8 worse, I guess. You're getting a rotary commercial. Why not get an Air Force Reserve helo spot? Because the Air Force does not recognize that. So I would have to go to, I mean, they basically, any unit would look at me as just a fighter guy that's trying to get a helo job. Now, obviously they would go, okay, he knows how to fly helos, got a better shot of getting through it. But I don't think they would, there's no direct hire. I'd have to go learn how to fly, which I wouldn't be opposed to. It's just, now you get into well, okay, you're going to have to give a couple years. It's a big transition. I mean, it's not as simple as, hey, just they hire you and you go back to being a part timer. It's a huge commitment, which I'm not opposed to, but I don't know if they would be willing to do it or, if it'd work out for what I'm trying to do. There's a lot of stuff. Like I said, there's so much uncertainty in every aspect that I just don't know. Instruct in Block 60s and live in Dubai. No, thank you. I'd instruct in Block 60s and live here, but no, I want to keep my puppy dogs and stay in the good old US of A. How common, uncommon? It's more common than you'd think. I mean, it happens. What is my age? I am 38 for about, what is today? The 22nd, for a couple more weeks. Could you fly the plane from when you were 15 again? No, because that organization went out of business. In fact, the guy I flew with was killed in a crash, so that stopped happening, unfortunately. 46, lol. um, let's see. Which did you find easier, Air Force Wave refueling or Navy? I never actually got to refuel in the Hornet because I never needed to. We always just flew wherever we needed to fly and came back. There was almost one opportunity, but the tanker fell out, so I didn't get to do it. So I never. But during joint exercises, do you go to different tankers? I don't know what that means. I mean, I've gone to things with KC-10s and KC-135s. That's what you mean, yeah. Rango laughs at the idea of mover as a Wizzo. I don't know. I'd have to think about that because at least as a Wizzo in a Strike Eagle, they have a stick. A Navy Wizzo doesn't get a stick, but a Air Force Wizzo, at least you get a stick back there. So it'd be like flying in the back seat, I guess, and just I don't know. Don't even put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Uh, when do I think I'm going to retire? Well, 5 years to 20. And then if I make 05, which I would have to do PME, which I haven't yet, I would get another 8 years. So I've got anywhere from 5 years to 13 years left. What's the most unrealistic thing about DCS? Vortex ring state. I mean, there's some physics stuff in the fighters and stuff, but I think between every helicopter I've flown, vortex ring state is a huge, huge deal. What is the proper reading order of the Spectre series? Start out with Spectre Rising and then go from there. It's on my website, cwlemoyne.com. Hey, I'm a staff guy at the Pentagon. I get it. I don't know about the Pentagon. I mean, something local, something cool. What would you do if you have a discussion at work and suddenly someone says, you think only in one dimension, asking for a friend, said friend can handle large data sets? Well, you must think in Russian. I depends on what we're talking about. Do I know? Am I sure of what I know? I mean, I would listen to them and then say, okay, show me the other side. And then, we'll see if we can come together here. Is the Alex Shepard series needed for reading Finney Flight? No, it is not. But NO Justice is needed for reading after Finney Flight, and you'll see why. Hell, maybe you could crew chief. Yeah, you can't as an officer. You can't. I don't think there's any crew chief jobs. Um, let's see. Hey, mover. I've got emails too. We'll get to those in a second, I guess. I was stationed at Eglin in the 33rd Fighter Wing back in 1981 as a jet engine mechanic on the Eagles. Missed the Eagles. Good luck flying pointy jets again. Go fly the EX. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Mover, how are you? I'm doing great. I'm good. Having options is better than not. Put a compass in your pocket and go for a walk. You'll know which way you're going. Being this age is the worst. Opportunities without direction is worse than direction without opportunities. I have to think about that for a second, but probably, yeah. Mover, I ask you many times to review ruined 1982 Firefox movies. Yeah, I mean, it's not that I won't do it. It's just, I got to find time, and I've never seen it. So it'll be a first look for me. I'm sure I can Google this. Is there a link for the book? Just go to cwlemoyne.com. That's the best way to find it. What actors are playing your characters in the Spectre series if they were to make a mini-series? You don't want to pigeonhole yourself, but I've always thought Max Martini for Kruger. That's kind of the next, the one I like for sure. No. When are you gonna do the next mover memes? I don't know. We talk about that every time. I don't know. I gotta find a meme page that because the one like fighter pilot meme streams, all those guys they don't make memes anymore. So there's still a chance for fights on. Yeah, yeah. It's not front of the list, but it's still a possibility. Why does the military see no value in an older yet highly trained pilot? It's about currency. It's about currency and opportunity. The Air Force is very, I'm not going to say short-sighted, but they don't look at the big picture. They don't look very far ahead. So when things are going well for them and retention, they make very drastic changes because they think this will never happen again. But the reality is, it is a cyclical thing. The airlines do well and they're hurting. The airlines do poorly and they're full up. And what happened, while during COVID and the airlines starting to furlough and all that stuff is it's like the perfect storm. Airlines furloughed, guys kept their jobs, so there was no movement, no retirement, stuff like that. The So they weren't hiring as much at the time. Then you get budget cuts or budget tightening, and there's no TX courses, so they can't train people. So even if they're short bodies, they can't train people to put new bodies in these jets. So then they start looking for only current qualified guys. Well, in the reserves and guard, what happens is active duty folks, now they start coming up on their 10-year commitments. And so there's this rush of, okay, there's current qualified active duty fighter pilots that are getting off active duty that need a place to go. So then they're taking up all the jobs. Then on top of that, you get units that are doing conversions. So you have a lot of at least on the AFREC side, on the Air Force Reserve Command, you've got a lot of near-term F-35 conversions where, like, Carswell's a great example. Carswell's a great squadron. You know, I would have loved to have gone there. In fact, I'm in that wing. And the problem with them is they're converting to the F-35 in the next couple of years. So they're not hiring F-16 pilots, which is what they fly now. They don't want to send a guy who hasn't been in the F-16 in 10 years to a TX course. So they can't hire into that. And then for the F-35 side, they have a limited number of TX courses. And the F-35 itself is having problems. You know, they've had engine issues and stuff like that, which has pushed the TX pipeline way far back. So really, they're like, we can only hire you if you're already flying the thing. So it's kind of just bad timing is really all it boils down to. Are you willing to move to another state to fly fighters and complete? Yeah, depends on the state. I mean, it depends on where and you know what the situation is. Do pilots at Nellis ever go to Vegas and gamble? Yeah, we usually stay in Vegas for red flags and stuff. Hey Mover, what, if you can remember, was your first exposure to fighter jets? Not like the dogfight thing. I mean, like, thing that really brought you into it. I think that is what brought me into it, but and the video games, you know, Jane's. But, you know, I went to air shows as a kid. I got a picture of me sitting in the Thunderbird F-16, which is cool. Would you ever fly in a Tomcat? Well, of course, Tomcats. But where are you going to get a chance to do that? I'd have to defect to Iran. Let's see. Do you like flying the helicopter? I do. I do. Have you ever thought about going skydiving? I have. I actually did a jump with the Golden Knights. You can't see it. Well, any interest in hooking up with an A-10 unit that flies A-10s? Absolutely. But again, same issue, right? These units are only hiring current qualified guys, and they have a limited ability to do transition courses. So, you know, it's tough. How is Luna? She's great. She's doing great. I'm surprised she's not in here. Before I started, I closed the door and she was using the bathroom to get in, and then she was trying to come in and out, so to speak. I'm an air traffic controller in Fort Worth. I wonder if you had any good ATC stories. Yeah, I got one. So I was coming back from the depot at Hill in an F-16. I was brand new. I mean, I was a young guy. In fact, I think my weather category limits was still 700 because I didn't have enough hours. And I was coming back from Hill, and the INS completely failed because you could come back from depot and that sometimes happens. So I was getting no gyro vectors like across the country, flying off the Whiskey Compass. I get to DFW and there's thunderstorms in the area, and they have me hold because there's too much traffic going into DFW. So they have me hold in there because there's storms. So I'm holding no gyro, and they finally let me go. And they vector me around, and I'm going to fly the approach, and the ILS is not tuning up. I mean, the navigation system on this F-16 is not doing great. So I asked for no gyro PAR, which is a precision approach, where the controller talks you down at Carswell, because it's a Navy base. They should be good at it. And the guy starts me on the approach, and he gets like, oh no, I can't do this. And finally says, hey sir, can you just fly the ILS? I can't do this. And I'm like, if I could fly the ILS, man, I would have flown the ILS. This is no kidding. I need a no gyro PAR. So they break me off the approach, bring me back around. They're like, hold on, we'll get a supervisor. They got a supervisor. Supervisor did great. You know, I broke out at 700 feet and landed in the rain. And I just never forget that. You know, hey, can you just fly the ILS? I can't do this. Like, you practice these no gyro, like in pilot training, you're like, oh, I'll never use this. And then I actually needed it. And the guy's like, can you just do this on your own? Anyway, that's a Fort Worth ATC story. Sorry, sniffles. It's not Rona. It's just cold. So, as an author, do you appreciate the chance to write the next chapter of your life, even though the closing of this chapter is bittersweet? I do. I've always said there's no third act, so I think this might be, you know, the beginning of the third act, whatever that is. You know, I think this is, you know, starting to figure out the, you know, kind of the conflict resolution part of my career and my life. Does your NVG military and low-level experience count as an endorsement on your fixed-wing rotary license? I have no idea. It's a good question. Never even looked at it. Is a FLIR pod always used in the F-18? Asking for DCS. Air to ground it is. We never flew with it when we were doing BFM. Opinions on the Eurofighter Typhoon? I think it's awesome. I'd love to fly one. What is your favorite DCS server? That CSAR one. Or Casmos. Casmos server's pretty cool. If you're looking for a new path, look at Wildland Firefighting Flying Tankers. Well, that's a mouthful, so to speak. How is Ghostbusters worth the $20? I didn't do Ghostbusters. Instead, I made an even more regrettable decision. I rented, because I found out Ghostbusters will be for rent in like a week. So my buddy's like, no, dude, just wait. So I did the new James Bond. And that was disappointing. God, that's 3 hours I won't get back. My God. What's the main of the game you play? I don't play any games right now except maybe DCS sometimes and Microsoft Flight Sim. Oh, 5PD, Grand Theft Auto. Flying Lakotas in the Army Guard? Nope, not going to the Army. No. Not going to the Army. Nope. Nope. Nothing wrong with the Army, but no thank you. Especially as an officer. You would be great to work with the people from Ace Combat to make a better game. Yeah, I think it's just too much lore though. I don't think they really are trying to do it. Like I think that's their shtick. I don't think Mover wants to fly big jets aside from the airlines. That's correct. Are you still current in the F-737? No, I have not flown the 737 since January of 2020. So if I understand correctly, because you're losing your flying gig, are you being released from the reserves from the whole, or do you still have left on your contract? I don't. So there's no contract. I mean, I was doing this when it was an 8-year commitment, but then reserves it doesn't matter. I mean, basically right now it's find a job or go to the inactive ready reserve, which you can't get a retirement from that. So, yeah. If you hear dogs barking, I apologize. Does DCS help fighter pilots get better at flying? No. What's your favorite airframe you've flown to date? It depends on what I'm doing. I mean, the F-16 was awesome. I love the F-16. I love the F-18. It just depends. I thought the F-16 was more comfortable than the F-18. So, for comfort. But the F-18 I thought was better for, gentlemanly dogfighting. You can be really good at it and not pull a lot of G's. Didn't hurt you as much. Have you ever given someone a call sign? Yeah, I've named people here at the Tufits. You're still doing reserve law enforcement. Yep, and it's Mardi Gras season, so good luck. I'm going to go out on a limb and say the most unrealistic thing about DCS is how people play it. Probably. Yeah, I've watched some videos of people giving academics on stuff, and I've just laughed. But it's not something that I can comment on because, some of the stuff you get in the air-to-air BVR tactic and stuff, which I can't talk about, but I've still laughed because there's a lot of misinformation out there, which is good, which means that our enemies don't know. I finished Finny Flight, and I'm reading Spectre Rising. It's awesome. I'm going to read the whole series. Yes! Thanks, Stinger. What's your favorite fighter of all time? Oof, I don't know. I mean, the Tomcat still got a, place in my heart. I don't know that anything's cooler than that. But I love the Viper. I think it's awesome. When I was playing Janes as a kid, I used to play the A4. But that's just because I couldn't figure out the afterburner when to use it. The A4 was awesome because it was mill idle. I was really good at it. It flew more like the T-34. Will you be a full-time YouTuber once you retire? Well, in 5 years? I don't know. I hope not. I hope that's not the end goal. Bought Spectre Rising in paperback. I read it in one day. It was that entertaining. That's awesome. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you. How is your health? Great. I'm telling you, it's not Rona. It's just the sniffles because it's cold. That's what I'm going to say. If you can fly any current fighter, current, past, foreign, or domestic, which would it be? The Raptor. I think that'd be cool to do at least once. Does it sound any different in the cockpit when you fly supersonic versus subsonic? Like you have no indications whatsoever. The Hornet was cool because when you'd fly at 400 knots or greater, low altitude, or even high altitude. But if you fly above 400 knots, the Lexus start to buzz. But that was it. Airwolf premiered on this date, 1984. Happy birthday, Airwolf. That's awesome. Please do more movie reviews of crap like Top Gunner and Firebirds. First of all, Firebirds was not crap. It's a great documentary. And oh, good call. I don't know if you guys saw, I posted it on Facebook, but sadly, if you were trying to recreate Firebirds next week, which some of us may or may not have been planning on doing, the Apache has been moved. So I know some people are disappointed about that. I guess I'm just not going to get to emails. All right, let's do an email. I don't know if I can share this with you guys or not. Hold on, I can share this with you. Oh, you gotta bear with me. I wasn't prepared. I didn't know that I was going to be tested today. All the things have happened. So the email says, and I quote, I've been enjoying your channel. Always look forward to new content. I just started Spectre series, like the first 2 books. I've been flying GA for 23 years, flying the DA-42. Never had a chance for jets, but this is a lot of fun. Anyway, had a couple questions. First, one of my favorite books is Phantom Over Vietnam by Major John Trotty. In one section, he describes how missions seem to be all the same, bombing the jungles to make toothpicks, and some pilots got complacent. Got to a point where he got called in by a FAC for a bombing run in his F4, and he decided he could do the run with his eyes closed. He proceeded to do just that. 2 questions. Do pilots get complacent to the point of doing this type of action? Second, do you think it's possible to pull this off like he did? The FAC gave us BDA and said he'd never seen better, so better luck next time. Or he had seen better, so better luck next time. I think people do get complacent. Yeah, it's a cause of a lot of mishaps. Could you close your eyes and do it? I mean, yeah, if you roll in based on timing, I think that would be tough. But, for a fighter pilot story, it only has to be 10% true. All right, so the problem I mentioned is that I'm outfitting my bar with an aviation theme. I already have an F-14 pinball machine. I'm getting one called Gull Wings. The back glass is really cheesy. Trouble is, I can't figure out which fighter this is. Can you identify this cockpit? I feel like Dora the Explorer. Anyway, keep up the good work. If you're ever in Delaware, we can go flying. You can check this out. So, I'm going to get you guys to help me. And so I'm going to add an overlay. And I'm going to add the picture that I just saved. And it's uploading. And bam. My thought, so I'm looking at this and I'm like, well, it looked like a Hornet at first. However, I think it's an AV-8B. That's my opinion. Because this looks like a Harrier, because that's a jump jet right there, like the jump ramp. I don't know if a AV-8B has the Hornet stick, but that's a Hornet stick. And I remember in DCS at least, it has the same MFDs, and the F-18 doesn't have the armament display panel at the bottom left. So I think this is an AV-8B. So what does the chat believe it is? Oh my God, I'm so far behind on these. What is it? Yep, it's a Harrier. Okay, everybody says it's a Harrier. Anyway. All right, so back to, I should have left that off. Anyway, that was that. You guys all identified it correctly. All right, this comes from Wes. He says, huge thanks. A year or so ago, I stumbled across your video reacting to the infographics fighter pilot video. That was the first time seeing you and what you do. The video is the inspiration for me to pursue becoming an Air Force pilot. I had no idea of the process, where to even start. Your work helped teach me the process mindset I need and share the resources I took advantage of. At this time, I've been selected to the OTS board and I have a pilot slot. Obviously, I'm not a fighter pilot yet, but there's a long way to go. I want to give you the utmost thanks for all that you do and the role you've played in all this for myself. That is awesome. Good job. Yep. That is awesome. Awesome. Great stuff. Okay, back to your questions, because you guys are destroying the comments. God, look at all the people watching this. You guys are awesome. Sorry if that sounds clickbaity, the closing chapter thing, but it actually, that's exactly what's happening. We're closing a chapter here, and we talked about it. How much more strict is a fighter medical compared to a class 1 for CPL? It's very much so. You got to do depth perception stuff, the color vision test. There's all kind of. To me, there's a lot more to it. I always find the FAA physical is a lot easier. How does taking off in a Hornet feel like? Awesome. I'm not You feel like you're being pressed in the seat, and then, you get used to it. Still going to Heli Expo. I hope so. Depends on some, like, talked about I don't know what's going to happen, but that's one of them. Like, I'm planning on going, but there's a couple things that could prevent that. So, what are your thoughts on the EX? Think it's great. Curious how they're going to fly it single seat because, the C model guys aren't going to want to have Wizzo. So, curious how that works. I'm surprised the Air Force doesn't try to pull you into public affairs given your large social media presence. You know what's funny? I actually talked to the Air Force Recruiting Service. So they're the guys that are pretty much in charge of recruiting about an IMA job. And the guy in charge said that, he pointed out a couple of the people that had jobs there and that were, they were just hiring and why they're full. And he's like, well, unless you have something to offer like these people, we really don't have any use for you, which I didn't say anything, but I thought it was funny. So I just said, hey, thanks for your time. Appreciate it. What's your thought on the Dale Brown series? I've only read one book. It was good. I don't remember which book it was. It was like a B-52 in the Syria or something with a laser on the nose. How can you be a pilot and never seen Firefox? Sacrilege. You must watch it. Stay safe because I think it came out like before I was born by like a few years. I'm back on shore. Can I comment on this instead of Facebook Messenger? What's next for you? Commercial helicopters? No. I'm only getting a commercial if I get a commercial. I don't know if you guys, well, I guess you wouldn't have, but the weather for my check ride is looking sketchy. So hopefully we can make it work, but we don't know. And there's Sniper Dog. He just walked in. If you had the chance to go to space on a space tourist flight, would you? Absolutely. Absolutely. I always wanted to be an astronaut, but never had a technical degree. What's up, Sniper Dog? Okay. Are they going to implement the anti-Glock on all fighters? Well, they did just get that Sig Sauer, so maybe. Oh, you mean the auto GCAS? No. I mean, it's going to be on some fighters, but not all of them. Whoever, you need to come on my podcast, so to speak, first of all. Second of all, any of that stuff, email me. We can figure it out. I'm supposed to go on a Rain's podcast, Afterburn podcast. Other than your patented hammerhead versus gonky, how much are the rudder pedals used in BFM? I use them. I think anytime you're at slow speed and high alpha, you need to use them. Oh, look, there's Lunabelle now. We got all the dogs entering. That's not good. It might get noisy. I apologize. We might have to shut this down here a little bit. Could you still go down the route of test pilot if you were to diversify your set of flown airframes? No. It's about degrees. I am not eligible for test pilot school. I have a business law degree. Hi, Mover. Regards from Spain. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? Which goal would you achieve? Man, where do I see myself in 10 months? I don't know. I mean, I would love to see one of these books into a film. Like, that would be awesome. I'd love to be talking about, how we made the 10th film, and I'm flying my own personal MiG-29 or Su-27 or something. Sorry, Su-27. People get really pissed off about that. Although Su-27 pilots call it the Su-27. So, Dave says your videos are top notch. Thanks, Dave. What do you think about the Italian Air Force? I flew with a guy in Italy. I flew with an Italian pilot in my pilot training class. He was awesome. I mean, I love our NATO allies. I mean, the only thing I didn't like about him is he picked up all the chicks. I mean, like, really. Chicks in America and Oklahoma. Love the Italian guy. Will you record your Finney flight? Yeah, I plan to. Allegedly. Maybe. Theoretically. Do you think the next gen of fighters will be the last exclusive to human pilots? Nope. We are not there yet. And I don't think we'll ever need to be there. I think you might have loyal wingmen, but the idea that we'll just have no manned fighters, I think is a bit of a stretch. Does NASA still fly F-16s as research planes? I don't know. I mean, they used to have Hornets and Vipers. I don't know what else. I know they still have T-38s, but it's actually not flown by NASA. It's contractors now. Forgive my ignorance. What is the role of the T-38? It's a trainer. The C model is a trainer. The A model that I fly is adversary air. Do you have an audio playlist? I sure do. I mean, like a public one? No. But, I mean, I have one that I listen to. all the time. Zaid Wolf, a lot of the score. Kenny Loggins, of course. If you could fly any fighter jet ever built, which one would you fly? I mean, we ask this a lot. I'd say A-10, F-22, F-35 maybe, Tomcat for sure. A whole bunch of other ones. Oh, it's not the same, but you ever thought about buying a leftover military jet? Sure, if I had the money to do it and to fly it. I mean, that's the thing. You can buy it, but then can you fly it? I mean, we're going to need to be well north of 7-8 figures before we start talking about buying a fighter jet. Viper, how do you tell apart so quickly all of the different block models? Looking at them, it's tough. I mean, knowing about them. I mean, like inside Block 40 and 50, the MMC jets, the HUD's different and all that stuff. The combining glass and all that stuff's a little different. But, I mean, I just know the blocks. I mean, if it ends with a 0, it's a GE motor. If it ends with a 2, it's a Pratt motor. Speaking of GE Motors, GE Aviation Engineer, anytime you want to tour the assembly manufacturer test, we'd love to host you. Oh, that'd be awesome. Again, email me, cwmloin@cwmloin.com. It's very tough to follow up with stuff like this, especially when I don't know how to contact people. One of the things you and some guests keep pointing out is the DCS lack of feedback from the aircraft. Any plans on getting a jet seat or butt kicker? I think you need a centrifuge for that. Adam says, would you rather fly the SR-71 or the U-2? SR-71 all day long. It's just cool, man. Rick says, are you getting a Z06? This must be later on. So I'd love to. I mean, that's the plan. However, have you seen the C8 market right now? I don't think I can. Like, I think within the next 5 years, it's going to be hard to do unless you're top of the list and willing to pay some stupid 50 grand over MSRP, which I won't do. So yes, but unlikely. Any thoughts? This one's funny. Any thoughts on how high you should go when appealing a medical DQ? I would go as far as humanly possible. I would just keep pushing until you can't push anymore, until they finally say, hey, kid, quit bugging me. Exhaust every avenue, because it's the rest of your career. And if that doesn't work, try a different service, because sometimes, you might be able to get that waiver in the Navy versus the Air Force or vice versa. Don't give yourself a small field of view. Open your horizons and try every means possible. Travis says, best of luck when whatever comes next. I appreciate it, Travis. What other country's military aircraft would be a bucket list to fly? I don't know, man. It'd always be cool, like a Mirage 2000, especially if you bring the girl on the Corsair. I think that'd be a lot of fun. But, Eurofighter, Rafale, Su-30, Su-27, Su-57, MiG-29. Are you going to be flying at least helicopters? Yeah, until they sell the helicopter. That's the other thing. They're allegedly selling the helicopters, which if you guys want to get flight training in the New Orleans area, get with me. I can get you Lester's contact, because he's looking in order to keep the helicopter from being sold for lack of use. He's trying to train as many people as he can. Are you going to get an Airwolf helmet? Where do you get one? I mean, I would if I could. How's your ZR1 doing, and are you getting a C8? My ZR1 is great. I love that car. I just got some Forge Line EX1 wheels for it. Great car. It's got 4,200 miles, I think, 4,300 miles. C8 Z06, maybe. Regular C8. If the prices became somewhat reasonable, maybe, until that. But I'd really like to get like a ZL1 1LE and then trade that in for the C8 Z06 eventually. I see Red Air contractors in your future. Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. Are the Thunderbirds going to transition to the F-35 eventually? I don't think so. I think they're going to go probably from the Viper, this is my speculation, but to the T-7. If I had to guess, I would think the T-7. And that would make sense because, part of the Thunderbirds is having that family model that you can take, media people around in. So I think that's a big thing. Are there any navigators left in the Air Force? If so, what will they do with them once they are? Well, they're WIZOs. So they combined it to CISO, so they could do anything. But yeah, there still are. And I think they just, move to other positions or go to staff jobs or whatever. Texas A&G has an F-16 squadron. And that's what I was talking about earlier. Part part of the reason that was tough is because I was never an instructor in the F-16 at Homestead. You know, I got my 4-ship qual and was starting the mission commander qual, and then the Navy hired me. So I was like, okay. But I got instructor in the F-18, but it was only for Red Air and BFM because that's all we did. So, you know, it doesn't carry over. So like an F-16 squadron wants a previously qualified F-16 guy that was an instructor and current. I mean, it's been 10 years since I've flown the Viper. I love that squadron now. I think it's one of the best squadrons in the military. They are awesome. I mean, I love being out there. I rushed that squadron when I was flying the Hornet, but just a bridge too far. I'm a former Cadillac and Raptor phase dock and crash recovery crew chief from 6 to 12. Have you ever suffered hypoxia? The year before I got out, just about every pilot was coming down. Yeah, I had that in the Hornet when we were having issues with cabin pressurization, which sucked because it was at night. But, you know, just gang load, see the dock, it was fine. Chatted with Natro the other day about you. Join the Idaho. I'd love to. I mean, my app's in, but they're looking for current qualified guys. So, I mean, I'm going to make them tell you no, but at this point, realism also has to be a part of it too. I'm torn between wanting more gonky vids or more Izzy vids. You will be more likely to see more gonky than you will to see more Izzy. I think that was kind of just a one-time, you know, fun video. I don't see more videos in the future there. See more of this. Do you think all Air Forces should go back to basics of celestial navigation in case of GPS failures? No, because we have reliable INSs and we have, you know, terrain following radars, and, you know, we have other methods and means than just GPS. I do agree that, you know, GPS, you know, it can be, it can fail, it can be jammed, it can be shot down, but I think you don't necessarily need to go to celestial nav, especially, you can't do it in a fighter. I mean, not that I know of, at least. And this one, check out Air First. They hire fighter pilots to fly. No, they don't, actually. MU-2's out of Tyndall for a tactical controller mission. Yep, the MU-2s went away. I know that because my good friend Skid used to fly for him, and that job went away. I will miss your flying videos. You have been a great leader, teacher, encouragement, and mentor. I am after a family situation, finally in a career that will allow me to save for Liberty University doing flatbed and step deck. I mean, no. Doesn't mean the flying videos are over. You know, I mean, I really never did any with the T-38, so... yeah. Can fighters fly in storms that airliners can't? No. Nobody should be flying in storms. At all. God, you know, I always, this always happens. I always get so far behind. Say, are USAF pilots already using the GAL 5? I think so. I've never flown with it. I mean, obviously we're not going to fly with it in the T-38. What about going to a defense company? So my thing is, I need something part-time so that I can continue pursuing other stuff. So, you know, I don't want just a full-time contractor job or anything like that. David says, any plans for starting a family? What's your experience in combining pilot career with romantic relationships? I don't think it's about the pilot career. It's just, you know, I mean, it's tough in general. I mean, sure, I'd love to start a family, but that's another thing. You know, it's just like getting hired by an airline. The older you get, the more difficult it becomes. Hey, Mover, what is the extent of things you can carry on board in the Viper or Hornet, like phones, cameras, and stuff? I mean, you can have your phone on you. You're not supposed to have cameras on you or in there, especially anything that can film a display. You know, you definitely don't want to film a display in an F-16 because of, you know, radar, classified, all that stuff. But you can have your phone on you, but, you know, again, don't take a picture that could possibly have reflection and have a display, or be smart about it if you do. I'm not going to tell people what to do. Ever played Metal Gear Solid? Yeah, I love the Metal Gear games. Is there a learning challenge moving from a single engine jet to a twin engine one? No, because you fly a twin engine in the T-38 and they're centerline thrust. I mean, it's not a huge deal. Which military pilots get the most PIC time? Fighter guys, I think. Well, used to be. I don't know what now, because fighter pilots aren't flying as much as they used to. Do you think pursuing a civilian aviation career is a good alternative if joining the Air Force is not an option? Absolutely. 100%. Thoughts on the JF-17? Don't know anything about it. Looks cool in DCS, I guess. What is this DCS sorcery? It's a video game that very closely mimics real life, but it's very popular. The Golden Knights are the U.S. Army demo team. Getting here late. Your career in fast movers over? I don't know. Would you fly the Mud Hen? Absolutely. Have you ever played Jane's USAF? Sure have. But by the time USAF came out, I was starting to kind of wane in my military video game. Finally caught a live stream. Sweet. Just want to drop by and say I appreciate your videos. Thank you. Let's see here. Did you try a vegan burger? What was your opinion on it? No. Why would you do that? I'm an Army guy. I wouldn't go to the Army today if I had a choice. There will never be a new Tomcat. Too expensive, sadly. Yeah, probably not. Hey, dude, what's your favorite airliner jet? Why would I have one of those? I guess the Airbus, right? Because it's got more room. No, you know, the 7.5 was cool. 757. I wish I'd have gotten... I was 3 days away from going to training in that thing before we no longer flew them. Is the F-35 better than the F-16? I guess it depends on at what. I mean, it's got more technology to it, so... in that sense, for combat, probably. New James Bond sucked. I slept through it in theaters. Yeah, God. Why? Why'd they do that, you know? I don't want to spoil it, but man, terrible. Hey, Mover, you've inspired me to go fly the Louisiana Air National Guard to fly the UH-60. Just need to study and lose weight. Thanks for your videos. Awesome. Just don't beat up old men in the parking lot. Or yell at old ladies. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Google it. God, what a guy. What a guy. Air National Guard an option or a thing anymore? I mean, it's like we talked about. It just depends. Probably not. Can you elaborate on your unwillingness to go Army? You sound like it's some major reservations. The Army is not geared around flying as much. You know, when you're an officer, you're not going to fly as much as an Air Force officer, you know, because my rank is different. So, you know, being a major or an 05 and going to an Army squadron means probably not going to fly a whole lot. Plus, the culture is a little different. You know, it's not as, I would say, refined as the Air Force or Navy. Just my opinion. I don't know. Army guys can always talk about it, but what is the airline you fly? I never talk about it on this channel, and I never will. What do you think about the... Oh, we already did that one. Southwest is hiring like crazy. I'm not fired from my current airline job, so no. And if I left my current airline job, I surely would not go to another one. Wags might need some help from you in the DC. I don't think he wants my help. I don't think I don't think my previous video did myself any favors with that. You got your heli license. Surely there's some available. I don't need... So it's not a need a job thing. It's it's about military flying. Like it's not like, hey, I need a job or I'm gonna go live on the street. I'm okay. Trust me, I'm okay. Everything's fine. It's just, I was looking for to keep flying fighters or to keep serving in some way. If not 37s, what are you flying for the airline now? Nothing right now. I'm supposed to go to Airbus school though. What was the rest of the question? You're based at DFW, yeah. Top bases out of Tucson got approved to fly F-16s. Yeah, they fly literally the Iron Eagle jets, the Israeli early blocks. Would you teach us how to fly on DCS? No, I will not. James Bond was good with Pierce Brosnan. Yeah. What is your experience with the German Air Force? I have none. Opinions on the French Air Force? If they're our allies, I think they're great. I love the Skyfighters movie, though. What are your expectations for Top Gun Maverick? How excited are you? I don't have any anymore. I've given up. If it happens, it happens, man. I mean, at this point, I just keep expecting them to just, move it again. So, whatever. Drake Aviation is looking for pilots, and we had Fly Exclusive LLC. Yeah, unless that's contract red air. Would you consider to move to Ohio and fly the F-16? Absolutely. Move to Ohio? Maybe. Yeah. It's one of those things. If the job is available and they're willing to hire me, it's definitely something to consider. In recent videos, you mentioned you had unforeseen mental blocks in flying the T-38. How am I doing these days? I'm awesome. I mean, I went back to flying, had some really good sorties, and, now it's bittersweet, right? Because, you go through all that and the job still goes away. But it's still good to go. Is Su-57 better than the F-30? I don't know. That's probably classified anyway. Would you want to merge with a flanker and an F-18? I'll merge with anybody in any jet I'm flying. Oh, God, here we go. Buccaneers, Rams, Packers, or 49ers? Don't care. Bengals, only because of Joe Burrow. Could you fly fighters for the Al National Guadalupes? What? What is the funniest, dummiest thing you saw somebody do while on shift as a cop? God, that's not. I mean, the cringiest thing was somebody called 911 because a bird crapped on their truck. I told that story on a different mover mailbag. Do you think sometimes in movies, TVs purposely not make things realistic because it shouldn't be realistic? No. I think a lot of times they just don't know any better and they do what looks better on film or what they think will look better, not what will be more realistic. Because a lot of the stuff, I mean, nothing that I ever talk about is national security or classified. It's just wrong. So, based on your philosophy, who is left out there that still hasn't said no to you staying in pointy jets? Um, I don't think that there is anybody. I mean, I've kind of exhausted all options. There are a couple opportunities that may come available soon, but again, I'm not going to talk about anything that's in the future because, especially don't want to highlight anything. Don't understand, probably too young. What is the closing the chapter mover? My last flight in the T-38 is next Friday or Thursday, maybe, and which could be, the end of my military flying career. I don't know. Let's see what else here. Flying whatever platform you're flying to do this in another state. Check out South Carolina Aeronautics Guard. Stop there. Are they hiring? I mean, that's the thing. Do they hiring and have TX courses? Everybody I've talked to, does not. Let's see here. Okay, so we got this. We have already answered that one. How cool efficient would be the H&B track cannon from battle? That would make life a little easier, especially if it was like radar tracked, so you didn't have to necessarily be in plane in range and in lead. But why even? It's just one more thing to break, especially with newer missiles. Has anyone have the call sign Shaker? Yeah, probably. I don't know. Oh God, do I don't even. I don't think I haven't worn my Air Force blues in a long time, but I don't. No, I'd probably just wear my Air Force wings because I really didn't. I was in the Navy, but I really wasn't a naval aviator. Here's with Mover. Make a contest. Whoever wins at the award will be going to have a beer with you and your mates. Huh. We could still do the viewing thing with Top Gun Maverick. Which chapter is closing? T-38. What about Draken? Maybe. Hopefully. Hopefully. Okay, we finally just hit the Harrier. That's how far back I am on you guys, the questions, so to speak. Did you read the article on Hooter? Hooter retired as the oldest F-16. I flew with Hooter. He's one of my favorite people to fly with. I think he's awesome. Great guy. DG, appreciate you. Unpopular opinion. Air Force can replace the A-10 with existing airframes. Oof. I don't know. I don't know. Um, do you think the MiG-21 was a good dogfighter? No. The Bison was. I mean, they're good. They give you one good turn, but not really. Do you have plans to travel? No. I don't want to be on an airliner at all right now because of all the stupid mask mandates and COVID nonsense. Uh, since you started flying helis, is purchasing a fixed wing out of the question? Wasn't a Glacier used to fly on an RV-10? No, it's not. I mean, that's a financial thing, financial thing and mission thing. Figuring out. I mean, speed is expensive, so yeah, possibly. No, this is not the last episode. Sorry, it's just closing the chapter on the T-38. I'm still around. We're not going anywhere. Uh, willing to fly to another state? Yeah. I mean, again, it depends. What positions do they have, and do they have um, TX courses? The reason I ask about low level and night vision goggle endorsements is you can pick up a slot with Police Air Wing as a pilot. Again, I'm not looking for a full time job, part time gig, yeah, but around here we just sold our helicopter in my agency. And in order to go fly with the Harrison County folks, I would have to be a Mississippi resident, which I'm not, and I'd have no plans to be. Whatever happened to you buying your own plane? It became a thing about, I didn't know what mission, because it's like, okay, do I want something fast and sporty and fun, or do I want something that can haul the dogs and go places and like camp or whatever? So I never could square that corner. And then I was like, well, hold on. And then, we started realizing the T-38 job was going away. Then COVID happened and, everything. Let's see. I'm guessing you joined after college. What are your thoughts on the questionable promises recruiter makes? And do you think they should be getting finder's fees? Uh, yeah, I say research everything yourself and make sure you understand what you're getting into. I don't know anything about a finder's fees, but they should get paid to do their job. I mean, whatever that is. Yesterday, a friend gave me an Airwolf box set as a belated Christmas gift. Weird how it was the day before the birthday of the series. Well, that is awesome. Yep. We talked about Hooter, great guy. Uh, and then, like I said, the MU2s are no longer at Tyndall. I've never flown with a nurse, but I mean, they can have their benefits. It'd be awesome to have one. Ever thought about being a medevac pilot? No. Again, that's a full time job. Don't need one. And they need, I think it's like 700 hours. Any thoughts on Trevor Jacobs? Yeah, I also always wear a parachute when I go flying. And that's not a joke. I always wear a parachute when I go flying. When I went to Vegas, the girls you take photos with asked me what brought you to Vegas. I said one word, Nellis. Okay. All right. Did you do any flights in Afghanistan? Nope, just Iraq. Are you on a Z06 wait list? I think so. Like it's the dealer here says I'm like number 3, but I don't know how many allocations they're going to get. Another dealer is like, well, we'll try to get a separate allocation. I don't know. I mean, I wish I had a better relationship with GM, like some of these other channels, because I think there's a lot of cool stuff we could do, fighter pilot ish, driving on the track, all that stuff. I think there's a lot of good crossover there, but it's a tough nut to crack. Hey, Mover, I'm a private, hold on, let me close that. Private pilot and freshman in 141 school and want to go to the guard unit to fly after. What do you think the hiring scene will look like in a few years post-pandemic? No idea. It's impossible to predict. Is the economy going to crash? Is it going to be, the airline's still going to be hiring? Impossible to predict. Become an astronaut. That's another one. You're going to have a technical degree. Let's see. Have you considered BizJet top 1% flying? I would rather be in the back of the BizJet, to be honest with you, or have my own BizJet and just fly myself around. Are you still in the airline industry? If not, are you ever going back? I am still in the airline industry. You have kids? Nope, just the dogs. MiG-29, 227, would you if you could? 100% yes. 100% yes. Can you fly for a friendly country, for example, Israel, if they needed pilots? I know Australia was doing that for a while, but I wouldn't. Do you think you'd go to a helicopter unit yet next? No, I don't think so. Maybe, but probably not. All right, here we go. Do you remember when you said something to my brother before boot camp? Well, he graduated with the best award you can get at boot camp, was named the best of the best. Congratulations, dude. That's awesome. Or dudette. Whichever one you are. Are you a captain? No, but I guess technically I could hold captain. I don't have 1,000 hours. I had like 690 hours. So I never got the 1,000 hours of 121 time. Oh, still getting to these questions here. How often you get to track? Not often enough. The track had no track days at the end of December or January, which is when I was trying to go. So maybe February. We'll see. So I answered this one. Would you fly the SR-71? I would definitely fly the SR-71. You too? Yeah, not fast enough. Hey, mover, I'll be sending a package your way soon. You're about to own a piece of aviation history. Okay, awesome. Send me an email. Let me know when to go pick it up at the post office. That's good stuff right there. Let's see. What else do we have? Wow, mover, you're looking well. Thank you. I appreciate that. Makes me feel good. I'm gonna have to shave this. Every time I almost get close to a beard, I have to shave it. You should be sponsored and get one. I agree. We're talking Z06. I agree. 100%. I agree. I agree. They want the younger crowd though. They want the Gen Y or Z or whatever. Uh, they just. What was it like being in the centrifuge for the first time? The first time we did it was in the T38. Wasn't too bad. I got motion sickness because I don't like the spinning because it kind of turns and the way it accelerates and go. It got me feeling like crap. The second time I went, they sent me from Fairchild, which is Survival, Evasion, Resistance, and Escape School, where I just lost like 15 pounds of water weight. Being in the woods. That sucked. It took 2 days to get through the 9G profile, and this was before the days of A tags and all that stuff. It's a lot easier now. 1,000 people, yeah, appreciate it. Thank you. Any update on trading in your SUV? The market's crazy, man. Market is crazy. Hear about the 2023 Escalade V? No, I haven't. It sounds awesome though. I like the Escalades. They look good, and I like the whole Super Cruise thing. United is hiring. No interest. I already fly for a major airline. Don't need another airline job. But thank you though. Has there been any stories about pilots having medical issues during flight? Oh yeah, yeah. Go watch the lightning strike video. That's a medical issue. We had to talk him down. Have you heard much on the pilot training next or Project Adventure? No, no, I haven't. A lot of people aren't a big fan of the whole UPT next and all that UPT 2.5. What are your thoughts on the unsavory things recruiters do, and do they and of they do get bonuses? Do you feel this is wrong? Also, Ukraine may be hiring. Well, that's fun. Yeah, I think they should be upfront and honest. Just tell them the truth. That's what I try to do. And give you the good with the bad. How many years have you flown your T-38 Talon? Since 2018, so just under 3 because it was August of 2018. Please react to the content of Sam Ekholm. Why? But I mean, from what I've seen, there's nothing wrong with it. The guy's a public affairs dude. Seems to do a good job. Have you ever flown a Gripen? I'd love to, but no, I've not. What hobbies did you have growing up that contributed towards your success in college and early military career? I don't know that contributed to it. I was into cars, going fast, racing, video games, Janes, all the Janes games, Microsoft Flight Sim, was into football, playing in the yard, my neighbor and stuff. Um, I think, I mean, having good parents, having a good dad. Yeah, I lost my mom, that sucked, but having a good father that was supportive was, I think, a huge part of it. Closing a chapter, does that mean new book is out? No, no, but it would be nice if the movie was being filmed, though. That would be nice. Would you ever want to fly an Apache? Hell yeah, dude. I have a pocket full of quarters. I am the greatest. Do you watch the History Channel show called Dogfights? No, I used to watch Weekday Wings, though. That would be fun. Who's your primary influencer when it comes to writing? Any specific work that motivated you the most? Yes, Vince Flynn. That's really got me going. How would you compare the acceleration of a vet to a runway takeoff in the F-18? That vet feels faster and it accelerates more initially because it's all linear. It's a very smooth acceleration that you don't feel. It's not a cat shot on a runway in a Hornet or a Viper. So, a car is going to feel faster from that 0 to 60, but then it's exponential acceleration after that. So anyway, please make a video about all the planes you flew. Sure. Sure, sure, sure. Air Force, we've talked about that. Kevin, you can be my wingman anytime. Bullshit, you can be mine. Flew, is that a word? Yep, that's a word. Let's see. What else you guys got? Clear, clear, clear. Feels good for about an hour. Have you ever been to Midway Island? No, but I wrote a book about it. I've flown over it. Have I flown over it? Maybe not. No, I didn't fly over it. Would have been cool, though. I'm still pushing for a Married to Mover series where you and your wife vlog every day. Yeah, that would be fun. You know what? This is a funny one. I got called 2 years ago, like at the end of 2019. I got called by a producer for Married with at First Sight. Somebody had put me in for that, and they were like, "Oh, we want to get you to audition for this show," and because they were doing a Married at First Sight in New Orleans, and I was like, no, no way, dude, no, I can't commit to that. Are you kidding me? Be married for real? Yeah, the 30 somethings or 40 something dating pool is a minefield. 100%. 100%. It's tough, man. Once you hit 35, it's rough. Can you give some insight as your experience as a deputy? Well, I'm a reserve deputy, so I'm part time. I get to pick, so I'm always the happy guy because I go when I want to. But I think, keep your head up, learn policy procedure, make sure that you understand the Constitution and you understand how to make sure that you're the guy that is helping people. You're not there to take anyone's rights. You're there to help people and keep people safe, and keep that attitude throughout your career. Those are the best cops, or the ones that I've always found the ones that are like Second Amendment supporters and stuff, because they just understand and they're like, yep, nope, I'm not here to rule you or govern you or anything like that. I'm just here to help and keep people safe. It's always this question: which do you enjoy flying more, the Viper or the F-18? I enjoyed them both. I mean, it just depended on what we were doing. I love them both. Here's another one for ATAC, TAC Air, Draken, part-time. Yep. Yep. Did you ever fly the Super Hornet? No. No, but that would have been cool. That would have been cool. Proudest achievement, pilot training. I mean, having graduating, pilot training, and having my dad and my mentor, being able to see that and be there. I think that was a really cool experience. Another one, I don't, it's not a good idea. It's just not a good idea to mix that. So I never say what airline I do or do not fly for. It's just not a good plan. Why do fighter pilots grow a mustache while on deployment? It's a tribute to Robin Olds, usually. I don't think DCS model real life. If it does, why do I suck at it? Because you have no formal training, probably. And if you have formal training, then I don't know. I don't have to tell you, suck less. Can you give some insights your experience? Oh, sorry. I'm doing this again. You guys need to stop asking the same question over and over. I'm just going to get to your question eventually. I'm just slow. Hey, Mover, you've inspired me to go. Oh, damn it. We've done this one already. Wow, pay for a super chat asking a real world. You just have to be patient. I don't get to, like, if you'd see how far, first of all, I'm using StreamYard. Second, I'm so far behind on these questions. I try to get to them as quickly as I can. So I already answered your question, by the way, but I'm sorry, I'm just getting to your feedback here. 757 and 777. Yep, I think the 75 is awesome. I've jump seated on a 777. It's really cool. If you start off flying aircraft other than fighters for the Air Force, can you still transfer over to fighters if you have the aptitude? Yes and no. I've seen it done. It's unlikely. It's very rare. It does happen because in the Air Force, you've got to go to IFF. And, going to IFF, you have to have a unit that wants you to go and sponsors you and all that stuff. It's not impossible. It happens. It's just rare. I've seen it happen in the Navy. You've seen Wombat on the channel. He flew the E2 before flying the Hornet. So that does happen. And I knew a guy that flew S3s before flying Hornet. So yeah, it does happen for sure. What happened to the airline job? I'm on a leave of absence. Let's see what else we got here. A lot of duplicate questions. I know how you feel about T-38, but why not become a T-38 instructor pilot out of Shepherd or Columbus? I'm sure C models have lower hours and better avionics. I don't think that's in the cards right now. I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to say no to anything. I just don't think that's in the card right now. Ever try iRacing? Yes, I love. Well, I don't say I love iRacing, but I enjoyed it. What I didn't like about iRacing, I think the tire models are a little out of whack. Like just having driven race cars before, kind of how they fall off, like for no apparent reason, or what they do when they fall off. Like sometimes tires get slick and you get loose when the tires fall off. It seems like always I'm talking NASCAR tracks, every track in iRacing, it's always the same thing. You start pushing and then you end up in the gravelly bits above the wall and you can't get out of it, which again, in real life, you can kind of, but maybe that's just because I don't have the feel. Maybe it's the same problem as DCS. Air National Guard isn't the close kept secret anymore. I hope not. I'm trying to get the word out. Have you ever flown a Viper with a personal cassette player strapped to your thigh? No, but I have flown. I've had like an earbud and a little, like an MP3 player, especially for a longer trip. If Mover went to the Army, he'd be like Tommy Lee's character in Firebirds without the flying. Yeah, it'd be rough. Well, we see Mover in a DCS Apache? Maybe. I've been flying the Blackhawk, and I've enjoyed that, although I've gotten it in some weird situations. 05 means flying a desk rather than aircraft, yeah, at least in the Army. Air Force Guard Reserve, you can still keep flying. I mean, I know plenty of 05s that flew all the way to the end. Thank you for your service and incredibly insightful info about fighter jets. You're welcome, 702. Mover Ghost Coast Guard, no thank you. Do they have a Coast Guard Reserve anyway? Part-time deal? Did you fly Apache? Yep. Warrant officers in combat units fly regularly. You're misinformed. I don't remember ever saying they don't. What did I say that? I said officers don't. I didn't say anything about warrant officers. Why do you guys care so much? Who cares? How many years to hit retirement and will you take a desk job? Maybe. 5 years. No, I'm not quitting YouTube. Whatever happened to that truck you wanted to buy or bought? I bought a Hellcat Durango instead. How much flight hours? I don't know if you can say average in a week. You can probably expect like 8 sorties a month, 10 sorties a month. Depends on the unit, depends on the aircraft. Raptor guys don't fly as much as other airframes. So I mean, you're probably talking anywhere from 6 to 9 hours a month, maybe more depending on what you're doing. Resign your commission, go warrant. No, thank you. I would like to keep my retirement. Would you consider going to any I am in the reserves. Like I am a reservist, so yeah. Let's see. Late to the chat. What's the new plan? Great question. I'm also changing careers and trying to go into the corporate aviation arena as a pilot. 35 years in the motion picture industry have destroyed my body. Really? Well, good luck to you. Join late. What do you think is the best air-to-ground missile? What do you think is the best? Oh, no. We're not talking about that stuff. Difference between the Navy and pilot culture. I think the Navy treats you more like an adult. They give you a little bit more leeway, which is good and bad. They give you the ability to, I mean, you give more leeway, but that's more rope to hang yourself. I mean, if you do something wrong, you're automatically liable for it. So it could be good, could be bad. No. I'm not quitting YouTube. I shouldn't have. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done it that way. I was just talking about the T-38. Mover, thank you for your awesome channel and the info provide. What aircraft would you like to drive that you've never flown? Again, Tomcat, P-51, MiG-29, C-27, Eurofighter, Rafale, Gripen. I mean, literally. I mean, just name it. I'll fly it. Maybe it was already mentioned. Yep, we've talked about ATAC. Can civilians fly retired military aircraft? They absolutely can. Just got to become one of those dudes from the Ace Combat series so you can do contract flying. Let's see. UPS or FedEx fly that. Again, already have a job. Not looking for another one. Do you build fighter jets? No, God, no. I would be terrible at building anything. No way. What was it like flying the F-16 for the first time? Awesome. Just awesome. I mean, First time I flew in it, I was in the back seat, and that was a different story. But the first time I actually flew it was awesome. Have you thought about getting into entertainment consulting to move the accuracy needle? Sure. I mean, it's not just like, hey, you do it. They don't. They usually have to know somebody. Do you use a program like Grammarly when you write? I used to. Now I just pay an editor and use Microsoft Word. When do you think the T-38 will be decommissioned? 2035, 2040 probably. Could you ruin it? Yeah, the Rock. I never thought about that one. F-18 airstrike scene. Isn't that the one where they call the Air Force and it's Hornets? Check out the South Carolina. Yeah, okay. I keep doing this. I'll merge with anybody in any jet I'm flying. Yeah, you aren't ready to be a former fighter pilot. Kids, write your congressman. We need to keep. It's just the way it is, man. If I'm there, I trust myself. I mean, and any fighter pilot should. I don't think you'll hear a fighter pilot go, "Oh, I wouldn't want to merge with that because that's scary." No, they're going to be like, "If I'm in the jet, I got a good shot." Are you quitting? No, I'm not quitting YouTube. People do this too much on YouTube. The fact that closing a chapter makes you think that this is the end of YouTube is, I think that's because there's too many drama queens on this channel or on this service. Here's $10 for no reason, just saying, hey, great stream as always. I don't care what airline you fly for. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Chris. Mover, would you be interested in flying Sopwith Camels for Ardennes Air National Guard? What the hell? Sure. Did you ever go on the boat? No. Well, I did. I didn't fly to the boat. I was the ODO on the TR for a week while everybody else got to fly on the boat. Have you thought about getting an intern? Oh, damn it. Is this the end of flying due to promotion? Nope. It's the end of flying due to my job going away. And Gonki's job. He's also fired. Visiting him near Rucker when the helis would fly over, you could see the longing to be up there again. Thank you. I think he'll be similar for you. Yeah, I think it's, like I said, moving on to the next chapter. I don't know what it's going to be. I mean, hopefully it's not the end of flying. It's just the end of T-38. No, Mover did not let go because of mental health problems. God, people jump to some silly conclusions. And I don't have mental health problems. I had things to overcome. I worked through them. And that's it. That's the end. Like, it's not... Any fun experiences with your neighbors up north? Yeah, and there's some that aren't very PG. The stories I've got of people, the Canadians. I love the Canadians. They're awesome now. Any thoughts on this Trevor Jacobs skydiving ditching stunt? Everybody's talked about it. I mean, I'm curious. My thing is, I'm waiting for the, haha, I got you. We really weren't that stupid, and this was all just a clever ruse, because who's really this stupid? I would also say I always fly with a parachute as well, so can't really give him too much on that. Petition to give Mover a cameo role in Top Gun 2. Well, they've already filmed it and edited it, so I doubt that will happen, but it's a good idea. Have you ever thought, oh God, same question over and over. Know any Norwegian Viper pilots? No, I don't. Had to think about that for a second. Got a movie for you to ruin? Email me. Have you ever come across the call sign Wallbanger? Why does that sound familiar? No, I don't think so. Have you ever considered getting involved in the CAF as a pilot aircraft? In the CAF? Oh, in the CAF. Commemorative Air Force now. No, I don't know anything about that. Let's see. He says, oh shit, I thought he was up to speed. No, I'm nowhere close to up to speed. I'm so far behind. And again, this always happens. So, I'm sorry. I try, but then I can't, people are like, well, you don't spend enough time on a question. So I try to, hey baby, how you doing, girl? Luna's in here. Let's see. Sorry to hear, dude. I went from USMC aviation to bush flying in the third world 12 years ago. Don't go anywhere that has a problem with Giardia. The hell is Giardia? I'm not smart enough to know what that is. Anything USAF will sell T-38s to aggressor contractors. Nope. Nobody will want to buy them. F5s will be used for Red Air, but T-38s have no. I don't see a contractor ever needing those. What about these contractors getting adversary air support contracts like Draken International? Would they be a thumbs up and thumbs down? Absolutely thumbs up for sure. For sure. Oh, show. Oh, show. Wouldn't be mad if you went to Iran, to fly Tomcats. You could teach them that the danger zone is required listening. Yeah, I would not do that. Mover, as an avid Dos Gringos listener, I want to know, what is your favorite Dos Gringos track? God. Two's Blind. I'm a Pilot. Dogs of War. I got a whole bunch. I got a whole playlist full of them. They're all awesome. Have you ever thought of flying in the RAF? Last mailbag, I got a thing from Australians asking me to rescue them. I don't know what's going on. You should turn on the slow chat. Well, I could, except StreamYard. So I'm using StreamYard in case anybody's wondering how I stream, because StreamYard allows me to put your comment on the screen and do a whole bunch of other cool stuff that I do, which I forgot to do this time. Like, what was it? Like that. However, comma. It's not like I go through the questions as I get them. So it's not that you guys are moving too fast. It's just there's too many questions. Hi, Mover. I'm a private pilot. Okay, so we already answered this one. So sometimes I get the super chats up here. What do you think about the F4? Cool. Looks cool. Real loud. Huge turning radius. Not the best of dogfighters, but really cool aircraft. Have not done the helicopter commercial pilot. Are you still doing law enforcement? Yes, sure am. Will the F-16s fly over Ukraine? I don't know. What do you prefer, Hill Gray or Have Glass paint scheme for the F-16 and why? Are you calling it the darker? The darker looks cool. I mean, I thought those charcoal gray looking F-16s look cool. Post-pandemic, this is part of culture now. It's not going anywhere. Yeah. I know. What about air racing? I do regular racing. Like I'd start up a NASCAR career, but I don't know about air racing. Fourth gen fighters are the coolest ones to me. In your commercial career, have you lined up near a 777 or 380? Yep, sure have. You should fly with Trent Palmer. Don't know them. Will you do some emergency procedures in DCS? Probably not. I mean, maybe. I'm not going to say no, but I don't know why you would. Feels like a check ride. If you could go back in time, would you make the same choice to be a fighter pilot again? Absolutely, 100%. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah, but don't carry a fire extinguisher strapped to your leg. What, you guys don't? I mean, he had 2 of them, so that's even better. I don't need a job, but it would be cool to consult for the gaming industry. See if you can come over to the Herc World assault mission on dirt strips, low level. I think what Hercs do is awesome. If I'm gonna fly a crew aircraft, I might as well, go fly for the airlines again. Favorite restaurant in New Orleans? Good question. That is a good question because I haven't been to any. Don Seafood on the Water. They have a great steak, and it's like right on the lakefront. I've asked this before. What are the requirements to join a demo squadron, i.e., Thunderbirds, Blue Angels? You have to interview. I mean, it's an interview process, and it's just something you have to go through, and you have to be doing really well, and yeah. Sorry if you've already answered. How the puppy's great. In fact, there's Luna. She's in here. She wandered in here. Have your dogs ever taken a ride in a helo? No, I want to take Luna though. I got her little ear protection thing, but we've never done it. The dogs become the center of your life. What does that mean? That was a weird question on that other video too. I mean, the video was not about the dogs. I mean, that was not hey, I have dogs. It caused me to reconsider everything or whatever. The dogs were just a detail. If it weren't dogs, it would have been something else. The bottom line on that was, yes, I care deeply about my dogs. I mean, they are a big part of my life, and I'm not going to, say they aren't, and I'm not going to apologize for that because I love them. I mean, that's a huge part of me. But for that incident, when I'm holding short in that T-38 and I look out and it's 700 overcast or 600 overcast or whatever it was, and I don't want to go flying, it wasn't because of the dogs that things spiraled out of control. It was because of, the fact that, a month prior I had just had an engine failure or a compressor stall in that jet. I didn't trust the instruments. I had had a lot of stress in my life. Compartmentalization had been an issue. Like it had just gotten to the point where it just all came together. And in that moment, I didn't want to go fly. And when you get that moment, instead of like saying, hey, dude, I'm going to go taxi back, I didn't want to disappoint anybody. I respected the guys I was flying with. I thought they might, make fun of me or whatever. And so then your mind starts racing. You just go down a rabbit hole. And the dogs just happened to be the rabbit hole that I went down, because, my dogs are getting older. And I thought previous to that it was going to be the last trip I had with them because of their age. And I was kind of sad about that, especially with getting the puppy, because I was very hesitant with the puppy because I was afraid, they'd feel like they were being replaced. And so that's the rabbit hole. Like as soon as that moment happened, that's what it sparked. But it could have been something else. It could have been a car, it could have been a girlfriend. Like the dogs were just the rabbit hole. They weren't the reason that any of that happened. The reason all that happened was stress and compartmentalization and allowing things to build up to the point that they had. And I worked through it. And, it wasn't easy. It was a process. It wasn't overnight. It wasn't day and night. And I eventually got back to flying with no problem. So, yeah, they're a big part of my life. Absolutely. Being a pilot as a career is just too volatile, too many variables. Yeah, I mean, it does happen. Thank you, Stephen. Hey, Mover. Okay, so we already answered that about the paint schemes there. Even though I don't like most Airwolf episodes, I love the first two episodes, Moffat's Ghost, the one with the Horn Businessman villain, HX1. Yeah, I love Airwolf, all of them. Do civilian can afford to buy the turboprop trainer? Probably not. I mean, that's the A29 is probably $1 million. AT6 is 300,000. Would you fly QF-16s out of Tyndall? Yeah, if they had a part-time gig, for sure. Do you want to fly another type of helicopter? Yes. I love helicopters. I enjoy flying them. What's the most G's you've pulled? 9.8. Sucked. Ever fly along with the Hurricane Hunters? No, but that would be a cool video to do, for sure. Did you ever receive firearms training in the Air Force or Navy? Yes. In the M9. Mover, since this chapter is closing, would you respectfully request to speak freely to your commanding officer, tell him about all the mess-up crap in the command? I mean, it's not really... I'd have to go, like, to the general. I mean, I'm sure they know. I mean, it is what it is. But I'm also not... And I'm not out, so, I mean, it's not like I'm, can just say whatever. Hey, Mover, F1 or IndyCar, what do you prefer? I'd say IndyCar. More entertaining to me. Thoughts on 5G and altimeter interference? I think it's overhyped. I don't know. I don't know enough. Yes, they could be on the same frequency. Yes, you barrage noise jam something with it could affect it. But, that only applies to Cat 3 approaches, which I've only done a handful in my career. It's not that common. So I think, more information is necessary for sure. Like right now, from what I've seen, it may affect it. So more testing is necessary. But I don't think it's necessarily the end of the world. It just limits, what you can do. I mean, if the weather is Cat 3 mins, then you're not going to be able to do Cat 3 approaches. So, yep. Was the question about medical issues a question about vaccines? No. Major, any thoughts on owning a Ferrari? They're expensive. Expensive to own, expensive to operate. I was a recruiter for 4 years. We don't get a bonus for recruiting bigger numbers. I wish, yeah. So I don't know about that. Especially being a YouTuber, how do you determine people asking questions that you can't answer because they're curious versus asking for nefarious reasons? I mean, you just don't answer questions that you can't answer. It doesn't matter what the reason is, you just don't answer. And if it gets too nefarious and they actually, send you emails or persist, that's when you have to hand it over to OSI or something. Thanks, Joni. Thanks, Yasin, Fox 2. Unmanned maneuverability, I don't see how man will compete. David Fravor incident comes to mind. The David Fravor incident we've talked about on this channel many, many, many times. Let's see. We'll skip down. Have you played Red Dead Redemption 2? I have. I have very much so. I enjoyed it. What are your thoughts on Air Force changing how the PCSM is calculated? Sure. Yeah, mo better. Mo better. When you're in the Middle East, did you ever have to engage air to air? No, that's not a thing. I mean, it's really not. There's been a handful of air to air kills, and there was the one in Syria, but for the U.S., but whatever. All right, here we go. I saw this question a lot on the other video. Helo commercial ticket. Why didn't you just do a 50-hour add-on to your fixed wing instead of getting your private helo? Because I still needed 35 hours PIC. So I hit the required time, got my private, had 6 months of flying around, and now I'm hitting the 35 hours PIC. Like, it didn't change anything other than now it's just 2 check rides. I mean, it's 2 identical check rides essentially. So, I mean, I'd have had to wait and fly the time. So I saved money at the time. Didn't think I was going to get the commercial. In fact, I thought I was going to skip to the ATP. Originally, if we'd have had a GI Bill school here, I'd have done, or if I had time to go to one, I'd have done straight to commercial, but I didn't have time, and we don't have that school here, so I wanted to stay here and get it done. So, I mean, it really didn't cost anything other than a check ride. The time would have been the time. Have the military ever worried about you accidentally disclosing sensitive information? Do you get any supervision from them to avoid? No. No. I mean, there's everything I do, I run through people, and I'm very careful about it. And again, we don't even come close in anything on this channel. Would you like to fly the F-35? Yeah, I guess. Sure. I apologize if you already answered. I joined late, but if you looked into flying, yeah, we talked about that. Great unit, but not going to happen. The guy who was trolling you was probably Gonky, and maybe the rest. No, Gonky does not have the technical ability to troll anything. But Folds of Honor. Cool, yeah. How's your Durango been? Oh, Durango. It's, I don't know. For something that gets 14 miles per gallon or 15 on the highway, it's kind of like I've got the vet. It's not smaller than a Yukon or a Tahoe or an Escalade, but horrible fuel efficiency, and I don't floor it ever because the dogs are in the back, or I'm just trying to drive around on the highway, so it kind of has no purpose. What title is your ending theme? It's Kurt Cheel. It's a YouTube, YouTube thing or whatever. Do you remember the tail number of the last F6? I'd have to look. I got a picture of it. I don't remember which tail number it is. Have you ever played strike games? No, I have not. Have you ever been to Poland? No. Do you ever feel lazy? How do you overcome it? Yes. How do you overcome it? Set an alarm, set a routine, do something early in the morning that gets your day set. Like, a routine helps, but just have a schedule. I mean, when I have no schedule, that's where I accomplish the least. I gotta tell you this. My dad, when he was transitioning to the Misters, and the IP basically went, here are the limits, don't exceed, now go fly. In his words, it was a sitting duck. Okay. Long-time listener, first-time caller. What's your closest shave in the cockpit? Fixed wing or rotary? Oh, man, we came within, I was doing an ACM bandit sortie, and I think when we looked at the data, we were like 12 feet apart. We almost hit each other. That kind of sucked. Opened my eyes because it was me. It was my fault. I was a dumb lieutenant that was being too aggressive. So it was definitely one of those, hey, you need to throttle back a little bit. Don't be so aggressive. Let's see. Glad I got married early, 22. There's no way I could do it today. Yeah, for sure. Stop asking the same questions multiple times. We already talked about what we mean about closing a chapter. Mover, would you like to fly the yes? I mean, yeah, that's a standard answer. Yeah, of course. I wonder if Mover thinks refurbishing 40-year-old planes instead of keeping the newer ones. What now? The EX is brand new off the assembly line. It's not a refurbished plane. What am I missing here? The newer one, the F-22 is not newer. I mean, that's a 20-year-old airframe, or soon to be 20 years old. It's getting there, almost 20, 15 years old. Mover, you're happy? Yes, 100%. Some people are impatient. I know, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let's see. Did you fly to Area 51? No. I don't have a problem. It's not my problem. It's everybody else getting mad at me. How long was the academy to become a deputy? I did the reserve academy, so it was Tuesdays and Thursday nights, and every other weekend for, God, we started in like 6 months, 8 months, something like that. It was a long time. Let's see. There we go. T7 looks like a sweet airplane. I agree. I mean, it looks cool. Oh, no, we're just doing the same question over and over again. You don't have to ask, like, I'll just get to it eventually, unless it's dumb, and then I'll skip it probably. Ever been bush flying? No. Nope. Here we go. Here's one. Thank you for your service. Incredibly insightful and fly. Oh, yep. I already answered that. Really? MP3 player? Yep. Back in the dam. What jet you realistically think you can fly next? Good question. I don't know. Do you use an Oculus when you play? No, I use a Reverb G2. Trevor Jacobs crash, but you guys keep talking about it. You're just making it worse, right? If it just dies and then the next thing you hear is the FAA, then that's cool. But everybody like wanting to keep this at the forefront is just you're doing exactly what the point was in the first place. You seem really stressed. I am not stressed. You know you can kick back and this is a terrible chair. Maybe that, but no, I'm not stressed at all. Well, we see a cooking with. If I were stressed, I wouldn't be doing this. I would have said, I wouldn't be doing this for 2 hours. You see cooking with Lester. I don't know if he can cook. Maybe I can. If he can cook, maybe. Let's see. We'll catch up. We'll check up. Thank everything. 1,100 viewers. Oh, you're right. Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. I saw a stream the other day. It was like a 2 million view channel. I only had 5 viewers. So I guess this is pretty good for a live stream. That's pretty awesome. Thank you. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully nobody thinks they're getting cheated. If I missed your question. Does your vision have to be perfect to fly fighters? No. You have to be correctable. So if you can correct it, you can have LASIK. You can have corrective vision too. Here's $10 for no reason, just saying, hey, great stream. Don't care what airline you fly for. Thanks. I see I've already answered that. That's. Are you going to do any more They weren't popular. I mean, I got like 20 unsubscribers or whatever off. I love doing them. I mean, I may just do them just for me. For sure. Ever gotten airsick? Oh, yeah. Go watch my T-34 gamer video. Let's see. In emergency, can T-38s be combat coded if needed? No, they cannot. Update your title, bro. To what? Like, what's wrong with the title? It's true. Like, that was the thing. Okay. Any thoughts on Trevor? No, we talked about that. Just tuned in. How have you been? Great. Doing great, Donald. Thanks for the thing. You said you were allowed to chew gum in a fighter jet. You're allowed to do whatever you want. You're an adult or an officer. Isn't that danger under G's? No. I mean, don't choke on it. Let's see. Trying to scroll through all the multiple questions from impatient people. Have you done the Finney flight? Nope. What would you pick? Word or Google Docs? Word for show. I'm just used to it. Google Docs is great, but I'm used to it. Can you compare DCS? Nope. We talked about the 5G thing. We'll see. Any fun stories about Dutch pilots? I do not have any personal stories with the Dutch. People that are intolerant of other people's cultures and the Dutch. Let's see here. Here we go. Just discover your content on YouTube, channel on YouTube. Love your content. I'm looking at buying your books. Is there one I should start with? They're all related. I would start with Spectre Rising. That is the first of the thing. What languages do you speak? English. Sometimes poorly. Just wanted to drop in and let you know that you inspired me to spend a lot of time over the last couple of years to reach my goal of flying a fighter in my first solo flight in the L-39 last month. Congratulations, Elizabeth. That is awesome. Ironically, or unironically, that was the first jet I flew too, in the backseat of an L-39 in college. Cool time. Do you think the T-38 will be put up for sale to civilians when they're retired? It's possible. I mean, there are civilian T-38s. Only serious question of the day. How do you like your steak? Medium. You should write the script for Iron Eagle 5. No, God, no. No. You can use OBS to put the graphics on the screen. I know. Well, you can, but can you use it to put the chat on the screen? There's a lot of features I like of StreamYard. It's so much easier to use than OBS. Are you excited for the Apache release? Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like Top Gun Maverick, I mean, I'll be excited when it gets here. Keeps getting pushed. Okay, would you be okay with someone making a fan film featuring the lead character in your novels? Maybe. It depends. Have you ever launched a Hellfire? No, we didn't. Nothing I've flown could carry them. Let's see. Scrolly. Everybody wants to know about opinions about Pantera. No, I hate that. There are two bands that I hate, and Pantera is one of them. What the hell? I understand the defense industry is your employer, but if you could work for Interpol or MI6 or MI8 to the UK, would you carry out a task to bomb the CIA? Where do these questions come from? VFA 204 is not getting S-16s to my knowledge. I have not heard of any such things. Last I heard, they're getting F5s. Mover Courtney just asked you out to dinner. All inquiries can be on my email, please. If you could replicate your career, but in any area except the one you did, the 80s, faux show. Faux show. Can we see the dogs? Not with this. Luna, come here, girl. Come here. Come here. She's not interested. No, you can't. Sorry. She's in charge, not me. I have to talk to her agent and all that stuff. Hi, Mover. I'm thinking about quitting my job and putting everything I have in a flight school at ATP. It's always been my dream. Should I do it? Do you have to quit your job to do it? I would recommend figuring out a balance to where you could work, or at least a little bit, and go to school. Might take a little bit longer, but I don't know about quitting your job. Unless it's nice to have a job and it's nice to, have an income stream. That's a tough one. Would you want to fly the 777? Yeah, I mean, that'd be nice. Do not beat yourself up. Just think how lucky you've been. There's been some guys who never made it. I'm not beating myself up. I'm very fortunate, very grateful. We need to wrap this up, though, because I think the game's about to start, isn't it? Like the Joe Burrow game. What's the point of attempting to be sarcastic if you state that it's sarcasm? This is something in the comments I happened upon, apparently. Let's see here. You play any sports in your free time? I tried CrossFit. I haven't done CrossFit. I talked about it before. I haven't done it this year because I caught COVID, and then I lost a whole bunch of weight, and I didn't want to do high-intensity stuff until I was able to gain some of the muscle weight back. But anyway. Good for you getting over the rabbit hole. Hope you had plenty of help. I did. A lot of good friends. Um, like I said, military family counseling, that was huge for me. Being able to get help, it was non-medical. It was not written down or anything. It was just, let's talk. Let's talk about the stressors and work through it. So it was definitely helpful, but it just, it, it's something we don't talk enough about. There's a stigma, there's a lot of fear, and I had those same fears. And, I believe that having a platform is almost a responsibility to be able to share, the downfalls and the successes so that maybe somebody can get help, maybe somebody can learn from it. How realistic is X-plane? I don't know about the jets, but the helicopter stuff's a little wonky, I thought. Hey, Mover, I loved your last flying video with Lester. Did you spot a smile as well? When do you get the license? Good question. Hopefully next week, but weather's looking a little, we'll see. What was the worst thing you've dropped in the cockpit? So, this is an embarrassing one ish. I was in the Hornet on a 1v0, and the vest always hurt my back. So I was like, because this is a 1v0, right? I'm just out doing loops to music, building time because we needed 100 hours a year. So I rolled inverted and pushed to try to, because I was trying to like unlock my back, to make my back feel better, decompress my spine. And I'm an Air Force guy, so I don't have the pin pocket like the Navy dudes do. And one of my pins flew out. And I tried to grab it, but I couldn't. And when I rolled upright, it went all the way in the back shell back there. And when I got back, I told them, and they're like, "No problem, sir." And they got the smallest spider monkey looking dude they could find. And he got it in like 5 minutes because I felt like an asshole. All right, unmanned maneuverability. Don't see how a man will compete. It's called missiles. Fox 2, Fox 3. Did you ever have the opportunity to fly with or against the foreign Air Force in training? Yeah, the Canadians. Pretty much it. I did an international red flag, but I didn't fly against them. I flew with them. I think I answered that one already. Can you do the Wonder Woman 19? I need to watch that movie. Yep. Yasin, thank you. Thank you. Joni, what are your thoughts on the EX? I think it's great. Buying new jets is an awesome idea. What does your typical day look like? If I'm not flying, you're talking flying or here? Because here it's mostly get up, feed the dogs, go to the gym, work on whatever I'm working, whether it's screenplay, writing, editing videos or whatever, and then take the dogs for a run or whatever, and then dinner and watch TV, go to bed. If I'm flying, it just depends. You got to brief, debrief, all that stuff, go to the gym. Yep. Would you mind to bring down a passenger airplane? Is this the same weird guy, the weird question as blowing up the CIA? I don't think you can say, would you mind? If you had to do it, you had to do it. But I don't think anybody would be like, oh, yeah, sure, I'd love to. You ruined 7,500. I don't know if I'm the right guy to be ruining airline movies. Mover, what rhymes with great? C8. Yeah, it's not as cool as the C701, though. Can drinking energy drinks affect the way you fly? Well, it can affect, your heart rate, which I found out firsthand after having 400 and something milligrams of caffeine that day. Probably didn't help the situation. Also late to the party. Are you going to download? I have downloaded the Blackhawk on mod DCS. Will you Twitch stream again? I don't know. I have been flying it, though. I do enjoy it. Not as much as the Huey, but I have enjoyed it. Burn donkey. Oh, that's how far behind I am? Oh, man. That's okay. Do you own a motorcycle? I used to. I sold it when I lived in Miami. It was too dangerous. Too many idiot people. Yeah. How many hours do you have in the Viper and the Hornet? I had 973 in the Viper and 380 or something in the Hornet. As a pilot, have you ever provided air support to special forces? Yes, I have actually. That's the most high-speed missions I've done. They were pretty cool. Would you do a helo mission for the CIA, a secret op? Sure. Will Gonki be able to finish his military career? Is he done? You'll have to ask him. I don't know. I honestly, I don't think he even knows at this point. What do you think of these expensive RC jets? They sound awesome and expensive. They do. I mean, I've seen like a life size, not life size, but a huge like Apache and Airwolf. Airwolf was my favorite, but like my thing is you spend like, 30 grand or 40 grand or whatever it costs, and then my dumbass would crash it. So, any luck finding another squadron? Not yet. I have a question. Why? Love these long mailbags. That's what she said. Are you running the 3090? Were you able to upgrade your PC? Yes, I am. I've got an 11900K and a 3090. Those were both upgraded during the pandemic. Have you ever had interest in the paranormal? What are your thoughts about ghosts? I wanted to be a Ghostbuster when I was a youngin'. I mean, I still do. I'd be a Ghostbuster. What do you plan to do with the Rotorcraft commercial rating? There are some opportunities, especially with regard to the channel, that kind of need it. So that's pretty much what I'm going to do with it. I mean, I don't need it for all the videos, but for some of the future stuff I've looked into doing, especially when you talk about doing stuff with manufacturers and stuff, they kind of do need the commercial rating. So that's kind of the plan. Thoughts on increasing synthetic training versus the real world? First generation pilots coming out? No. Nothing replaces being in the jet. Nothing. It's that sensation or knowledge that your butt is on the line in their jet versus there are no consequences in a sim. Like you cannot simulate that. And it's real and it's a big factor. So no, I don't think you replace. I think you can add. I think it'd be additive, but I don't think you can replace. We love you. I love you too. Thank you. What kind of dogs do you have? My Bernese Mountain Dog is my kid. Well, so Luna Bell over here, she's 50% Husky, like 12% Dutch Shepherd. She's got some Terrier in her, and I forgot what else, like different poodles. Sniper is Belgian Malinois, like Chihuahua, Coyote, whole bunch of stuff. And Kaiser is Belgian Malinois, Rottweiler, German Shepherd, a whole bunch of different other dogs. I mean, they're just great. They're just awesome dogs. Let's see, whatever. Yeah, Gamer 0, Puke Bag 1. Yep. Do you like your staccato pistol? Loved it. The only thing is, it has to be very clean, high-speed ammo. Does not run the dirty stuff, lower velocity, remanufactured, anything like that. So I'd suggest closing a chapter in military flying. It is closing a chapter. Like, why is this a thing? Yeah, it's not. I mean, I don't think we've had any more of those questions recently, have we? So, hey, Luna, you want to come here? Come here. Come here. She's camera shy. She's not gonna do it. She's wondering who I'm talking to because we've been sitting here for 2 hours. Oh, yeah. Today's the last day I forgot about that. Today's the last day. So go check out the Lightspeed giveaway. I'm going to have to put that in the description somehow. Yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, you can get a headset. Lightspeed's good people. Homemade, not homemade, but, they're American company, real good people, real down to earth, real super nice. Thanks for your much earlier video regarding mental health. Your bravery in telling your story is the kind of thing to help remove the tragic social stigma of being open and honest. Much respect. Thanks, Dave. Come here, girl. Look. There she is. Oh. This is Luna. She's half husky. You got one blue eye, one brown eye. Anyway, opinion on. Here you go. She didn't want to be on the camera. MD 500. It's a great helicopter. Fun stuff. All right, I'm gonna start scrolling down here. Try to get caught up. Why Pantera? I just don't like it. The other band is Deftones. I just don't like it. And then Pantera, not only are they bad to me, but they're also like 8-minute songs. So it's like, whatever. Here we go. Just want to thank you again for all you're doing. Gotta go. Bye. See you, Jonathan. Appreciate it, man. 66 F-16 Block 70 aircraft are set to be sent to Taiwan, all theater. Or do you think it has potential to doing something serious? I mean, I think they need all the help they can get, and Block 70 is a good aircraft. When my friend was in F-35s, they had seat restrictions. She had to go to Burger King. That's funny. That is funny. I've got a T-34B, Yankee Kilo in North Carolina. Next time you air, we can recreate your historic T-34 flight. That'd be cool. That would be cool. As long as the wing spar doesn't fold. That's the part I wouldn't want to do it. Gave myself arrhythmia by bottling up stress. You're 100% correct. Been there with you. Yep. It happens, man. Mover, how do I avoid vortex ring state? I want to slow down while maintaining altitude in a heli. So in real life, you know, it's 10% of power, 20 knots or less, 300 feet a minute or greater descent rate. So as long as you stay out of those parameters, you should not be in a vortex ring state. It's very tough to get into. Like, it's not just DCS exaggerates it, and I don't know why. So, you know, keep your speed up. You're trying to slow down, so, you know, the best way to do it is by not having a descent rate. Well, a Maverick fire if you're still on the ground. It did an Iron Eagle, but usually you got to wait on wheel switch. That'll prevent it from doing that. Do you feel the FAA contributes to mental health stigma with their mental policies on flying? I read a stat. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Is there a way to purchase your books other than Amazon? Well, any way you purchase my books is going to give somebody a cut, but I mean, they're available in Barnes & Noble, any ebook retailer. Gal Gadot, now you're talking. For sure. What are we talking about, though? How are you doing from a mental health standpoint? I know it can be sometimes hard when a chapter of your life. I mean, I think I'm handling it well. You know, I'm optimistic for the future. I think that something good's going to happen, so I'm not necessarily worried about it. Mover tells his chiropractor, I don't need a negative G device for my spine. I use inverted flight for spinal deconfection. Yeah, I know. Should try jujitsu as a form of. I've done it before. It is a full body workout and be so exhausted you feel mentally calm. Yeah, that's what I liked about doing the CrossFit. It was exhausting. Know anyone who's been in a flat spin headed out to sea? No, I don't. Sorry. Have you ever been interested in drag racing? I have done drag racing, but I mean, I like, you know, circle track or road racing personally. Uh, let's see. Oh, questions. Our dedicated helicopter controls for sim. Yes. Pro Flight Trainer is what I use. The Puma. That's the one I like. That's the one I have. Let's see. Do you have any kids or just the dogs? No. Longest sortie was combat was 6 something. Flying from Hawaii to Dallas was 7 point something, 7.8, 7.6, something like that. That was a lot of tanking. Let's see here. Still scrolly. Sorry if I'm missing anything. Ever try any Janes PC? Yeah, most of them. I've done a lot of Janes. I have my tail wheel endorsement actually. Got it in a Pitts S2. Are you still on here? As much as we all appreciate taking the time to answer, get out of here, enjoy your weekend. It's cold. It's cold. See, the thing is, like, these questions are all good, and then Are you going to race the Corvette ever again? Yes. Oh, it has been 2 hours, hasn't it? Okay, it's time to wrap this thing up. Let's skip to the end. See if, what everybody says about the puppy, because that's really all I care about. There's Luna. My God, this guy's weird. She's got two different color eyes, light brown and blue. That's what huskies do. She's a good girl. She's over a year, just over a year old. She's great. And I just weighed her this morning. She's 51 pounds. Okay, that's enough. I'm sorry. Oh wait. Oh, this is a cool one. I just retired from the SEAL teams a week ago. Shout out to you from Vern. I think you met Vern. I didn't, but email me, cwmoyne at cwmoyne.com. We can chat. I don't know. What is it about the death tones? Because they're tone deaf. Like, I think they're tone deaf. Like, I don't think the lead singer's voice is that good. I just don't know. I'm sorry. How old is Luna? She just, her birthday's in October. So she's whatever, a year and 3 months, 4 months or whatever. So anyway, appreciate everybody hanging around for 2 hours. We've had a lot of viewers. This is crazy. But anyway, I'll retitle it so people won't be mad at me because they think, I'm quitting the YouTubes. I'm not quitting. I'm just changing gears, going to the next thing. So you guys have a great weekend. Enjoy. If you're watching football, you're watching whatever, the snow, staying warm. And we'll talk more. I've got more videos. I've got the last T-34 video from my childhood, which like I said, I'm thinking about making that a series. We can talk about, I went to a racing school. I went to, when I went to college, got my private pilot's license, kind of like an almost autobiographical, talking about the path that got me where I was, which some might enjoy. I don't know. And then also I've got the Icarus device, the view limiting device. Lester and I got in the R44 and did simulated in the IMC. So that'll be cool. I've got another flight with Lester to prep for my check ride. So that'll be on. Also going to do some more Mover Ruins movies. And I'm going to the Airbus Inadvertent IMC course in a couple weeks. That'll be a lot of fun to film and show you guys. And yeah, just going to keep on keeping on. So anyway, no chili, no beans, my friend. No beans. Chili does not have beans. Let's see here. The angry, it would be, but that's not the case. It could actually be the end of my military flying career. So that's not necessarily accurate either. Thank you, Jacob. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video and this live stream. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.